Hi, I'm Katie from What Katie Did, and today I'm going to be talking about vintage stockings and vintage stocking sizing. So if you do see them in a thrift store or a vintage store, you'll be able to work out whether they're going to fit you or not. A couple of weeks ago I spoke about bra sizing, and the way bra sizing works, all you need is really one word, and that is why. I mean, I don't know why on earth they came up with the system they did, and unfortunately when it comes to vintage stocking sizing, the same word applies. Why? They could have sized stockings by your height, your weight, the size of your thigh, the length of your leg, but no, they decided to do it by foot size because that makes sense, right? So basically with vintage stocking sizes, you had 5 sizes, and they start at 8.5, which fitted a UK foot size 3 or US foot size 5, and the largest size was an 11, which fit a UK size foot size 8 or US foot size 10. And if you had bigger feet than that, then basically you were stuck. Now I'm 5'5", and I'm a UK dress size 12, a US dress size 8, and my thigh measures 21 inches. So you'd think that it would be pretty easy for me to find vintage stockings that fit. But this is where it becomes quite interesting, because I actually have size 8 feet, UK 8 feet, US size 10 feet. I don't know why my feet are out of proportion with the rest of my body. No one else in the family has big feet, it's just me, and they certainly help me stay stable when I'm doing my yoga, but when it comes to vintage stockings, they don't help at all. And I take a size 11 in vintage stockings, which is the biggest size they do. Now, I don't know what happens if you were bigger than me, because, you know, as I said, I'm a UK size 12, US size 8, 5'5". I'm not very, very tall. I'm not very, very wide. All I've got is big feet, and I have problems finding vintage stockings. Even the biggest ones are sometimes a little bit too small. There are 2 types of vintage fully fashioned stockings, the glamorous type and the not so glamorous type, and this is also quite interesting. Now, the glamorous type, you'll find these in thrift stores quite often, and they've got nice packaging, and these are the traditional stocking knit, which you'll see on modern fully fashioned stockings, and they're sheer and smooth and silky, and they just look amazing. But the issue with these is they really don't stretch, so the sizing does have to be spot on. So I said earlier that I take a size 11, and I can sometimes get away with a 10.5, which fits a foot size, a UK foot size 7 or a US foot size 9. Sometimes I can't. The second type of vintage fully fashioned stockings are crepe knit stockings, and they're still 100% nylon, but as you can see, they don't look half as glamorous as the other ones, because the nylon is all squished together, it's twisted, and it's designed to stretch. So it's great for covering a larger size range. And I've got a pair by Charnos here, 30 denier crepe stockings in crepe stretch. And this actually, they only did 2 sizes. They did a small and a medium, and this is size 2, which fits 9.5 to 11, which is my size. So that covers quite a big size range, and because they stretch, these fit me really well, even though if you were in a vintage store, I mean, you'd go for these Wosley, the glamorous ones, not these granny looking ones. As soon as stretch nylon, elastane and lycra came in, then stocking sizes did change, and they became bigger, and also you only needed a couple sizes to fit all size ranges. But traditional fully fashioned stockings were still made, and the sizing did get bigger as time moved on, so you don't have to be so critical as they were in the 50s and 60s. And I do need to do a shout out now to Aristock Harmony Points, and anyone who's into fully fashioned stockings, they'll be going, oh my goodness, because bitter chocolate size 10.5, 11, these are the holy grail of fully fashioned stockings, because these were the last commercially made in the UK, and forget pensions. This is my pension pot. They're kept under lock and key in a safe place, and they are absolutely amazing. And you can still find these in charity shops in the UK if you're very, very lucky. And whatever the size, if you find a pair of Harmony Points, snap them up, because on eBay they're currently going for about £30, and you know, you'll make your money back no problem at all. The fully fashioned stocking manufacturer Geo in the UK, now they still use the sizing 8.5, 9, 9.5, 10, 10.5 and 11, but the sizes are completely different to vintage fully fashioned stockings of the 50s. For example, I wear a size 11 in vintage fully fashioned stockings, whereas with Geo I wear a 9.5, which relates to my height as opposed to the foot size. So you do have to be careful. You can't go by your Geo size when it comes to looking for vintage fully fashioned stockings. Just to compare now, I'm going to put on a couple of pairs to show you. Now, I was lucky enough, I was so excited when I found these. I've got 3 boxes of vintage fully fashioned stockings in a 10.5, and I got them super cheap, and I was like, well, of course they're going to fit because they're a 10.5, and some of them, I'll show you, some of them have contrast black seams. Now, how amazing is that? Sweet Jane 15 denier fully fashioned stockings. So I'll put a pair of these on for you. It's got a nice Cuban heel and they fit over my foot really, really well. The welt feels very tight. The seam isn't quite straight, so let me just do the seam up a little bit. Now this one you could wear with a girdle. It is shorter than I would like. It is a size smaller officially, but I would have thought with, you know, my leg size and my height that this 10.5 would have been fine for fit. It's very much a 40s or 50s fit where people did wear them lower down on the leg, but I can feel it digging in, and it's not really getting bulgy bits. It's really not very comfortable at all. The second pair of fully fashioned stockings I've got to put on are the unglamorous granny style crepe 30 denier stockings, which I said are perfect for 1940s, 1950s day wear for reenactors. And already putting them on and feeling them, I can feel they're a lot stretchier. So let's put them on and see what happens. These are size 2, which are designed to fit stocking size 9.5 to 11, so they do fit a larger size range, and they do feel super comfortable when I put them on. I'll just do them up quickly. So looking at those, these are the unglamorous ones on. They feel comfortable, they're stretchy, they would fit a larger leg than mine. These are the ones which are a 10.5, which even though my feet are a foot size too big for them, they do fit the feet. It's just the thighs. The thighs, they're short, the welts are digging in and they're not very comfortable. And you can see once they're on, I'll just straighten the seam a little bit. The unglamorous crepe granny stockings do actually look really good. I've put a spec sheet of all the fully fashioned vintage sizes below, but if you do have any questions about sizing or stockings in general, please let me know. In the meantime, take care and I'll catch up with you soon.